Hi, I'm Debbie Wright from Crosswalk.com, and today we're interviewing Lysa TerKeurst about her new book, Unglued. Lysa, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Unglued?
Well, Unglued came on the heels of my last book. My last book was Made to Crave, and Made to Crave was a very vulnerable book about the struggles of what goes in my mouth, and Unglued is a very vulnerable book about the struggles of the words that come out of my mouth. So obviously I have issues with my mouth. And, I'm not the hero of Unglued. I haven't hit this mark of, oh, I always have perfect reactions and I always perfectly know how to handle conflict. I still don't like conflict. I still mess up. And I have to give myself a lot of grace. I'm getting better. And that's really the hope wrapped up in the book Unglued, and why I wanted to write it is because I wanted to help women make imperfect progress in the way that they react in times of conflict, times where they feel like they have raw emotions. The subtitle of the book is Making Wise Choices in the Midst of Raw Emotions. And nothing will cause your emotions to feel more raw than those times where people bump into your happy. And it's in that split second, how do we react? And I wanted to go right into that split second decision and equip women to make wiser choices.
What are some things, like what's one thing you personally have learned through the writing of the book?
I think probably the biggest thing is I used to think people were either an exploder or a stuffer. And yet I found myself having tendencies to do both. I shift my reaction based on who I'm reacting with. And so I wanted to label myself, I'm an exploder, and these are the Bible verses that can help me. Or I'm a stuffer, and it's just more Christian to be a stuffer, you know? And what I found is I'm a combination of both, and it's not more Christian to stuff. Like, it's not more Christian to pretend like you're fine when you're really not fine. You see, the exploder is bringing something good to the table in an argument. I mean, they're bringing some junk, but the exploder is bringing honesty, and honesty is good. And the stuffer, they're bringing some junk, but they're bringing something good too. They're bringing peacemaking. And that's the reaction that I've learned as I've gone through this and studied it and written about it. That's the reaction we're after. We need to have reactions where we're both honest and peacemaking at the same time. That's what I call soul integrity. And that's when you can know in your heart that I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm being honest, but I'm not destroying this relationship. And I'm being peacekeeping, but I'm not being eaten away inside with bitterness. I can bring them both out, honesty and peacemaking, soul integrity.
What encouragement specifically would you offer women who are struggling with the subtitle of your book, Making Wise Choices in the Midst of Raw Emotions?
I've learned that God's grace will not run out on us. Like, God is not going to get to the place where he says, I am sick of you. Like, you and all your raw emotions have just gotten on the last good nerve I have, and I am sick and tired of you, and my grace has just run out on you. That's not going to happen with God. So I guess ultimately I want a woman to understand we are going to go through some things in this book that are going to really, really help. Like, I'm going to teach you how, in a non-emotional moment, to develop a response template so that you can go to a biblically already arranged set of things that you can do when you're having a reaction to kind of check yourself, and it's going to help you have better reactions. So we're going to make a lot of progress. We're going to have amazing Bible study. We're going to really dive deep into why we do the things that we do and how to make better choices. But when it's all said and done, it comes down to a choice. And sometimes you're going to make wise choices in the midst of raw emotions. Celebrate those. Sometimes you're going to make poor choices in the midst of raw emotions. Give yourself grace for those. But just realize imperfect progress is all about just getting a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, and giving yourself permission to need God through the whole journey.